Alrighty, so I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a professional mechanic or anything. I had my mechanic days and all this good stuff, but on this is a 2018 CanAm Commander Max 800R. So it's the four-seater 800 model of the CanAm Commander. There's no real information out there to change out your front prop shaft or front drive shaft carrier bearing. So I've figured it out, and I figured I would put a video out there to help anybody else out with the process as well. So let's go ahead and get to it. So the easiest way, or the initial way that I found to do it that made everything easy, so it's what I recommend at least, is you're going to want to take first your side panel cover off, which is the elongated one there, and then you're going to take your gas tank cover panel off. Both of them easy, just a bunch of the push pins, no big deal. So then you get into the drive shaft. Obviously already apart, but I'm going to try to just relay the information to help anybody out. So you have a two-piece shaft here, obviously. Now your carrier is bolted down here on these brackets. It's a 15mm bolt going through the top to the bottom with the 15mm nut on the bottom. Just zip those out, wrench and impact, you're good to go. After that, I went ahead and made the timing marks on the yoke to the shaft for the front half. And I actually did the same going back to the rear shaft as well. Hard to tell from here because it's already apart, but you'll get what I mean. So then what I did once it was unbolted, I went ahead and I WD-40'd up the splines going into the yokes. That way, when you're doing this little dance here in a second, it'll make your life a lot easier trying to wiggle these out. So the best way that I can explain it, that made it to where it came out without having to do anything crazy, while it's still together, obviously, you're going to lift up on your front half of the prop shaft. At that point, you're going to take your left hand and you're actually going to put force going towards the front of the machine, just enough to hold the splines as deep in to that yoke as possible. That'll give you the most room to wiggle this whole thing out. And then what you'll notice, you're going to bring it up and you're going to try to get the right angle so it makes sense here. You're going to pull the, well, if I can get this out of the way, make sure I don't damage anything. So you're going to be pulling the front half up, and you're going to run into, you're going to run into that right there. As you can tell, the shaft runs along to the front through the firewall, and it has this rubberized, almost plastic piece to help, I guess, keep debris out. So you're going to be pushing up against that. Don't worry, you can force up on it. It's not really going to hurt anything at all. So what you do is you lift up, keeping the pressure towards the front for the rear half of the shaft. You're pushing up and forcing a little bit, giving it just little teeny tiny wiggles to make sure the splines can move out and move nice and easy. And what'll happen is it'll come out of the rear. And you really want to keep, gosh, come on, focus. There you go. So you want to keep the pressure off the splines the best you can so you don't gum anything up. I'm sure they're heat treated, strong, all good to go, but just something to be noted. Is to try to keep the pressure off those rear splines. Since you're going to be pulling the yoke out of the back, you want to make sure you don't damage any of that. So as you pull it up and out, the drive shaft, the whole unit will just come up, giving it little wiggles towards the front, and that rear will pop right off. And then from there, you can just pull this whole rear half out of the machine, and you can get to, you know, replacing your bearing. So like I said, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a professional mechanic. Nothing like that. I just have my toys. I work on my toys. And yeah, there wasn't any information out there for the 800R 2018 Max CanAm Commander. And, you know, I figured why not go ahead and, you know, put a little something out there. So hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Not sure if I'll be able to answer them, but hey, I'll do my best.